Yar! Yar! Is that how it goes? Can you tell me how to do proper yar, sir?
Yar!
Yar! Oh, I feel like I'm trying to imitate a horse or something.
Oh, no,
is that how it goes?
Deep down in the diaphragm and raise it up. Yar!
Yeah, no, yeah, it sounded like a horse. Oh, woof. But regardless, A for effort. Yes, that's what matters. Yar for effort. Absolutely. Yes. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I am Alex Mack, part of the Call to Action crew, and I'm here with Warfather himself. Oh my God.
Huzzah! Hello!
Huzzah! Yes. Everyone, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. It is going to be a really fun match. It's going to be so much fun. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat, every one of our competitors. We're going to be having a Droogs-themed debate today. And if you're not sure what we're doing here today, guys, what are you doing? Come on, get with it. Schmoebates is a Schmoedown-themed debate show here that I host every single Wednesday, or at least try to host every single Wednesday, where we debate to the death on all things Schmoedown, on Schmoedown's biggest and most important topics, obviously. So I'm pretty excited. This is actually going to be we're going to be wrapping up our faction-specific, debates here very soon. We're going to be doing some other themed debates, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start introducing our first competitors. But before we get to that, though, Warfather, we haven't really seen you debate. We've seen you being playing trivia and all that good stuff. But yes. Are you big on debating and arguing?
What is the best type of war that can be done with tongues and mouths and brains than debate? That's what I say. At least in a PG realm. So Warfather does enjoy a good battle of the words, as opposed to, although I do enjoy some forms of activities within the battle boudoir, but that's not for tonight. Tonight, it is a battle of brains. It is a battle of tongue. It is quick wits and versus hard arguments.
Hard arguments, indeed.
Well,
yes.
Soft feelings, though.
Soft feelings. All about soft feelings, yes. I just want to give you guys a heads up over in the chat. Yes, is this my father? William Harold is also asking, do I have a war name? Warfather, do you have a war name you can give me?
Oh, yes. Master Judge Mack, of course.
Oh, guys. I'm putting that on my license plates now. Master George, not George
Master
Mack.
Judge Mack?
Judge Mack.
That might be too many characters, but I think you can try it.
You know what? It never hurts to try, right? Yes. Hard arguments and soft feelings.
Yes.
And last one real quick before I dive into our competitors. Just shut up and give Warfather his Emmy.
Oh, you flatter me, Master Lancaster. Oh, that was lovely.
Yes, we definitely have an awesome group of people here. Okay, well, speaking of awesome group, we are just going to go ahead and introduce some of our competitors today. Our first competitor is, you might know him from AAA. You also might know him from a brand new thing we're doing here at C2A called C2A Twitch. So definitely check that out. His name is Mr. Nat Vu. What up, Nat?
I would like to say something to the parents of our community. Send your children to bed. Protect their innocence. Shield them from what's about to come, because this is not a friendly match. This is not a debate. This is not a AAA Civil War. This is a slaughter. You ever seen The Revenant?
Slaughter.
Oh.
Dylan is DiCaprio. I'm a big,
that's a very unfriendly bear.
He's Mufasa. I am a stampede of wildebeest. The difference between me and them? I am not a monster animal. There will be no brutality for the sake of brutality. This is personal. I am offended that Dylan would accept this match. I am offended that he thinks he has a shot in hell of winning. I am offended by his mere existence. Tonight is not Schmoebates. Tonight is Schmo Beatdown. Natty Daddy's home, and tonight it's time for a spanking. Let's bring him out here.
Oh, I'm so into this right now. I'm so into this. Okay, I don't know. That was amazing. Eric.
Verbal onslaught.
Sorry. Warfather, those were some strong words, overall. So I'm excited to see. Are you impressed with this little commotion with that has been brewing?
I have to say that I admire the gumption in his words and wish him the best as he goes to battle, and realize that, it's kind of a rather harsh thing to say about being a stampede over a Mufasa. Are you saying that you're going to leave your opponent's son fatherless? Is that your intention and goal, verbally speaking?
That is 100% what I'm saying.
Oh,
this is getting intense.
This is gonna be fun.
I am legitimately scared for my life right now. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and bring out our second competitor. Again, you might know him from AAA. You might know him from Twitch, C2A Twitch. But also, both of these people really made me a really bad assembly of Pokemon. So I'm really iffy on both of them. It is Mr. Dylan Camacho.
Dylan Camacho has arrived for the rounds.
Dylan, that's your new name.
Shall shake before Nat's promo. That was a pretty good promo, buddy. I won't lie to you. Came in real hot, came in with all that bravado, all that pride, which is just gonna make it that much better when I see you get picked apart in this debate, my friend. He's coming in and he wants to take my father out with a herd of buffalo, which joke's on you. He hasn't been in my life since I've been 3. So I hope you feel bad about that later tonight. You didn't know that, but you found that out. We're oversharing here on Schmoebates, and I'm here to share with you that it's going to be a really bad time for Nat tonight, but a really good time for me and all of the viewers. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time for everybody but Nat this evening.
Yes. Well, both of these competitors in particular, I just want to give you a heads up, Warfather. They've never been on Schmoebates before, technically, especially not against each other. And they have a pretty intense rivalry here at C2A. So, Warfather, do you have any pieces of advice for both of our competitors before we get to the debating?
Hard arguments, soft feelings, and mediocre strength, violent tools. Which is what I call weapons. But the fact of the matter is that you just go in, go hard, go steady, and, be sure that you save time for cuddling at the end.
And that's something that we hope that they'll be doing here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and dive into the rules for Schmoebates tonight. 3 questions will be debated, with the winner being determined by the guest co-host and our ghost judge, Warfather, and a mysterious judge that's going to be revealed at the end of tonight's episode. If there is a tie, the audience vote will serve as the tiebreaker. Jake Feta, the one and only, will be adding the links to the chat, so definitely stay tuned to be looking out for that, and definitely be checking those out when the time comes. There will be 60-second openings for each statement, followed by 4 minutes of open debate and 60 seconds of closing statements as well. The final round is determined by the host flipping the coin. I have it ready to go, and the winner must win at least 2 of the 3 rounds. But each competitor has 130 seconds of uninterrupted time extension that can be used at any time at their pleasure. Now, we're going to be getting to it. We're going to be bringing up our first question. And Warfather, will you please do the honors?
Most certainly, Master Judge Mac. Gentlemen, what competitor should be Ken Knapsack's first draft pick in next year's draft for the movie Trivia Schmoedown?
All right. Like I said, Dylan, we're going to be starting with you. You have 1 minute on the clock to let us know your first draft pick, starting now.
Awesome. First round pick, easy. We know it. We love them, especially on this channel. It's Big Action Dad Ben Bateman. Why? The writing is in the stars. That's not going to last at Gucci. That's going off. The storyline's plaguing himself. He wants out. He knows that Gucci is not going to be there for him. He's for everybody else. Bateman's on the table. Why Bateman for Knapsack? Another easy pick. As great as Knapsack is on the mic, he's maybe not the best strategist. He's maybe not always the best manager. He fell into the role, but he's trying to make a name for himself. How do you correct? You put out somebody who knows the strategy, knows how to play the game, plays the game good, so can sit there and be a team leader player. You want somebody who's going to carry that faction forward and bring everybody along with them. That player is Ben Bateman easily. It is the easiest pick on that whole roster. I don't even need to convince anybody else on this one. Nat's pick is not even close. Not a leader. Not going to make it happen. But I'll save my time for that debate. I'll go ahead and concede the rest of my time.
Oh, yeah, it's solid 9 seconds left. All right, wasting that 9 seconds, that's a bold move. All right, we're going to be moving on to Nat. You also have 60 seconds for your opening statement as well. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it, starting now.
My pick is Liz Shannon Miller. Liz Shannon Miller has one of the best records in the entire league at 6-2. Her 2 losses were to an elite competition on their way to the title at their peak of their respective runs. She has TKO'd a former champion, JT. She's beaten 2 champions with a ton of momentum in Chance Allison and William Bibiani. If she can do that, Liz Shannon Miller is capable of beating anybody. She might even be champion by the time the season's over. Liz needs to be drafted early because people are no longer sleeping on her. Everyone is aware of what an elite level competitor she is. The Droogs need to draft her as soon as they can. I yield the rest of my time.
Oh, wow. Even bolder move, yielding a solid 25 seconds of your opening statement. That's a bold move, and I respect it. Okay, so Ben Bateman or Liz Shannon Miller, obviously 2 huge, really respectable, amazing competitors. Warfather, as someone that's currently in the Droogs, what do you think about these competitors possibly being having Droogs material?
I say that both would be welcomed under the Droogs fold. I mean, you cannot argue against Ben Bateman being a former champion, but as Nat said, Liz Shannon Miller, she is just tearing it up in the tournament, and no one should sleep on her either. I think that they would both fit in as part of, I can show them the ropes of the Droogs, being the war father that I am, and just being a good role model, fatherly figure. Show Ben Bateman how to tie his Droog shoes, show Liz Shannon Miller how to make a proper Droogs breakfast, which is, of course, milk. And then proceed to dominate the movie trivia Schmoedown and lead the Droogs to the victory we deserve.
I'm just trying so hard not to cry right now. Oh, God. Oh, God.
I did not mean to make you weep, Master Judge. It's not my intention.
Not. It's just something, that visual alone, it's just something I didn't know I needed until right now. And now that I know I possibly am not able to have it until like next season, it's cry worthy.
I'm more than happy to be a war father figure to anyone.
Which makes you a national treasure. Yes. Wow. Okay. We have 4 minutes of open debate. You guys can go back and forth through each other. And please, I also encourage you guys to really address any holes in each other's arguments as well. But yeah, you guys got 4 minutes to really kind of go at each other. You have starting right now.
Matt, real quick fact check. Liz Shannon Miller lost to 2 people. What was one of those people?
It was Ben Bateman on his run to championship. I knew you would bring that up. But the question is, should Ben Bateman be a high draft pick? Sure. But the question is who's not the best available player. The question is who would fit the Droogs the best. Ben Bateman needs a specific type of manager. He needs someone you can bounce strategy off of. And there are better options than that than Ken Knapsack. Ken Knapsack is a perfect manager for someone who needs a mouthpiece. He's arguably the best person on the mic in the entire Schmoedown. Ben Bateman does not need a mouthpiece. The boss is one of the most dominant characters in the Schmoedown.
I gotta cut you right here, man. We already know Bateman's been a manager for Gucci as much as Gucci has been a manager for anybody else. He's sitting there strategizing with him. He's sitting there bringing it up. He's sitting there doing a lot of the work behind the scenes with it. Gucci, while great manager of the year, now that it's a real deal, Bateman has been doing so much of that behind the work scenes. It shows on all the backstage stuff. It shows on all the talks. Any times that we were in backstage, even in the awards and all the live events, Bateman's even said himself, he's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely making moves behind the scenes because he's got that brain for it. And no disrespect to Liz Shannon Miller at all. As a competitor by herself exclusively as a resource, amazing. On a total tear, extremely knowledgeable. I'll give you that. But she's great in her own regard, not in regards to a team. It is a whole team, and we need somebody to work with everybody. Liz benefits the best from having somebody support her, as we've seen with Swag, and we've seen Winston bringing her to that next level. By herself, she was this unrefined gem, but with that support, she's great. Ben is the support and the gem. He brings both to the table. So how are you going to tell me that Liz, who, again, would be great on her own run, is going to bring up the whole faction with that? Ben just brings so much more to the table than Liz does.
I think a good match should be something that benefits both the competitor and the team. I think Ben joining them would benefit the Droogs, but it would not benefit Ben Bateman. Liz Shannon Miller is already someone who has the knowledge, who is already a very strong competitor, and could use someone for talking to her like Liz Shannon Miller, like Ken Knapsack. She needs someone who can handle the promo work while she focuses on the match. She also brings the knowledge that she is on the same caliber as Ben Bateman skill-wise, so she would help the team in that way. That's what Ken is excellent at.
Yes. Skill-wise, to be determined still. Listen, I'm not saying that she's ever shown bad play per se, but, we don't see her doing the mind games that we love to talk about on that expired AAA live show that nobody's watched. We love talking about how they use kayfabe in the character with it, and Liz doesn't do that. We don't see Liz using all of the JTEs or slowing down answers to really play any of the mind games or any of the fun stuff that you can do with it. And maybe it's not because it's in her character, or maybe it's because that she's not that strategy type. I think we've seen in the past that she is a knowledge wealth, but strategist and well or coordinated player is to be determined. Just because she's performing well doesn't mean that she's a great Schmoedown competitor, but that she is an extremely knowledgeable Schmoedown competitor, and that is blowing through competition right now.
Let's talk about why Ben Bateman wants to leave the Finstock Exchange in the first place. It's because Finstock, he cannot bounce strategy off of Ken Knapsack. That's why he's leaving. I think that Ken Knapsack and Finstock are very similar managers in that they hype their competitors up and they do the promo work for them. Ben Bateman needs a manager who can bounce strategy off of. Ken Knapsack's not that manager.
I disagree. And it's not for that Ken can't bring that strategy piece. Here's what Ben, you're taking about the wrong thing from what Ben needs. Ben needs a faction for redemption, right? We've seen him go through the heel or the face turn and be a tweener in that one, and didn't work for him. It didn't bring it back up. Sure, he got championship and he did that, but for a character and for redemption, he's going to revamp a team that was pretty much at the bottom of the stuff to come back. That's redemption. And not only does he get titles, he gets to say he brought a whole faction with him to the top. You've got nothing on 2 seconds, so I'll just say hi, chat. Hey, everybody.
And time. That wraps it up our opening debate, and that was a pretty feisty open debate, if I do say so myself. I also do want to clarify, I do want to just clarify to everyone in the chat, but also Warfather and everyone here as well. This is the first draft pick after signing the 3 competitors. So technically it would be 4th choice, but it would be after their core trio. So like newer competitors that haven't been in the Droogs before. So just want to reiterate that. Now, that was a pretty solid open debate. Warfather, what do you say? Were there any like particular, statements that really kind of called out to you? Anything that, any arguments that you were like, hey, that is a really solid point?
I think pointing out all of Ben Bateman's credentials certainly helped Dylan, as along with taking up the majority of the time at the repartee. However, Nat brought up some very good points about Liz Shannon Miller and the fact that she may be overlooked and probably will be the person still possibly available after the first 3 initial pick rounds. So she would probably be more up for grabs than Mr. Bateman, depending on the strategy of Gucci or whatever. He has 3 different names. I forget which one matters. But it's but I think both debaters showed great strength in both their arguments and their backing, even though I myself did a poor description of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's something that, I didn't really hear, Dylan address in his open debate. I'm curious to see him possibly address in the closing statements is, Liz Shannon Miller, for being, this is like, I believe her 3rd season now. She is, and considering her record and everything, she is very consistently overlooked as a singles and potential teams competitor, unfortunately. So she is one of the, singles competitor in spite of her amazing record. She's definitely overlooked by potential managers as well, and as a great potential teammate. Now, I didn't hear Nat address it, but something also to consider is that Liz is not really big into kayfabe or character, but, she kind of needs a manager or a teammate or whatever it may be to kind of do a lot of that for her, because she's there to bring in the knowledge and all that great stuff, but she's not going to come in with costumes and doing promos and all that good stuff outside of the cute little little cat moments and
I
everything.
beg your pardon. Costumes. This is a uniform.
For you, it's a uniform. Not everyone has said uniform, though, just to clarify.
Fair.
But that's something I definitely would love to see addressed, because I didn't really hear you guys make any points. Now, our ghost judge does have a request that you guys do go in when you guys are in the closing statements to really address their choices being available for the draft. But also, Dylan, what can Ken specifically do for Ben? Nat, what can also Liz do for Ken? So definitely we would love to see how not only they can benefit the individual factions, but also what can Ken do for these competitors. So please paint that picture for us.
May I make an addition to both of those, according with our ghost judge? What can they offer the Droogs, as in the remaining teammates? Keeping in mind, under the possibility, let's go with our current roster. How can they help myself, Brandon, Hannah, Jader, and all the rest of my Droog teammates? How can they benefit us?
Yes, absolutely. Whitney Seibold, Alonso Duralda, potentially.
Yes.
Oh, I love those guys. All right, guys, we're going to be going into our closing statement. So you got to really wrap it up with a nice bow and with a cherry on top. So you guys got to get to it. Like I said, for the opening statements, we started with Dylan. We're going to continue with Dylan for this question. My dude, are you ready for your closing statement?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, you have 1 minute on the clock starting now.
So, starting right off the bat, is he available in the draft? Yes. If Knapsack plays his card rights, knows that his lower ranking is going to be a little bit unfavorable in the picks, but he knows damn well that if he's going to put that effort into Ben and that he sells Ben on the idea of legacy, that is what Ken is offering Ben. Ben comes over like LeBron over to another team that isn't the other team. I don't do sports, but you get the idea. He goes to a team that he hasn't made famous, and he goes to a team and he rebuilds it from the ground up. Listen, there's so much raw talent waiting in the Droogs. Alonso Duralde, Whitney Seibold, all these wealths of knowledge, even looking at Brandon Hannah, who is this well-shaped form person who needs that extra little And somebody like Ben Bateman knows how to get that into other players. He's a smart person, but he also knows how to amplify and to bring up everything. It's one thing for a legacy for him to be a world champ, a singles champ, go on to be a team's champ eventually and do all that. That's great. But for you to be a champion of a whole faction and to bring everybody else up with you, and you know that that credit's going to him, that is what you bring. Full-on legacy. Let it be Ben Bateman revives a whole division.
And time. Ooh. That was sounding pretty good. I'm not, to be completely honest, that was pretty solid, creating that more of that that support group is definitely necessary for sure for any successful faction, obviously. All right, Nat, you also have 1 minute on the clock to really sell us on Liz Shannon Miller, more so than we already are, obviously. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, starting now.
Okay, to touch on the kayfabe, Ben Bateman does not need Ken Nassab kayfabe. Ken Nassab is one of the best kayfabe entertainers in the league, but Ben Bateman already has a character. He doesn't need that. Liz Shannon Miller needs that. So it would benefit her and the team. It would benefit the team because Liz Shannon Miller can be a powerhouse the way that Ethan Irwin is, the way that Dan Merle is. She has that knowledge. She can help the singles competitors rise up and elevate everyone around her. When you have the choice between two very skilled players in Bateman and Miller, you want the player that fits the team the best. Ben Bateman is not a team player. Ben Bateman has, I would like to take my 30 seconds. Ben Bateman has turned on every team he has ever been a part of in the Schmoedown. He turned on his own brother and Andrew Guy. He turned on his teammate and friend Mark Riley. He turned on the entire Finstock Exchange. The second things did not go his way. Liz Shannon Miller has zero history of turning on anyone in the Schmoedown. You want someone who's going to stick by you. You want someone who's loyal. You want Liz Shannon Miller. I yield my time.
You have 45 seconds.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take the rest of my time. Dylan sucks. Liz Shannon Miller is awesome. She might be the champion by the end of the league. She's being top level competitor. She's being Chance Ellison. She's being William Bibiani. She has a far better record than Bateman, and she's bringing it into the league. She's relatively new, and she's going to take some time to improve even more than how good she already is. So you're only going to see her getting better. She already has the knowledge. She just needs to have the strategy with that, and I yield the rest of my time.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I gave you the additional 30 seconds as per requested. So that's why it's like I started it over at the minute again. That's
I talk faster than I think I
yeah. Okay. That was a lot to digest. And now our Warfather, as well as our ghost judge, they're gonna be letting us know in the our little private chat we have going on who they think is not this one in here, obviously in StreamYard, but our private chat that we have going on in our other group, to who they think is the winner of this in particular debate. We'll let you know here in a split second. Now, why we gotta dive into that though, while we're playing the waiting game though, overall, Warfather, these were two very, very solid arguments here. Obviously Ben Bateman is talking about how he's trying to create a legacy. Liz Shannon Miller is definitely still trying to make a name for herself. And, there's a lot of potential she can do that with someone with a strong personality. And, it's really great, like Ken Napzok. What did you think of their arguments overall?
I think both had very solid arguments. I mean, the Droogs could definitely ride on the tails and the charisma of a Ben Bateman at the helm, but as Nat pointed out, Ben could just do whatever he wants and just leaves. It seems that history has shown Ben Bateman cares for Ben Bateman and Ben Bateman alone.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. That seems to be the case. It just, the real question is, would he be able to stick around long enough to be effective for the Droogs, along with being effective for Mr. Bateman himself?
Absolutely. We have seen a very extensive history of him. I don't want to say turning on his teammates, even though he 100% has. But he definitely has a history of certain behavior when it comes to his teammates, his faction mates. I mean, like not only with, with Andrew Guy, obviously, our Lord and Savior Andrew Guy, but obviously what we've seen with Gucci, with potentially Mark Riley, and just the whole, Finstock exchange overall. Guys, let us know in the chat, who you think won this argument, but also go vote right there. You can let us your opinions know. We just want to know what you guys think overall, because if our judges both determine they have different opinions on who won that one, it's up to you guys to really help us out with the audience as being a tiebreaker. Okay.
Much like in the gladiatorial battles of old, you have to give the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
All right. Now both of our judges have the same opinion on this question, and the numbers are in. The winner of the first argument is Mr. Navu, with Liz Shannon Miller potentially joining the Droogs. So obviously that 30 seconds of additional time really sold us. So good job.
I would like to say thank you to Warfather and thank you to our guest judge. I know I haven't won yet, but that's all I needed. That's all I needed to win one round, and that's what I did. So thank you so much.
I will say it was a tooth and nail battle and decision within me. Although that could have been the burrito from earlier.
That's a whole conversation. Okay, so it is speaking of which, the battle is not over yet. Actually, scratch that. That was the first battle of 3 today. We are going to be moving on to our second question. And now I just want to give you guys a heads up. From here on out, we are not going to let you know who the winner is until the very end of the debate. I can see Dylan, you stretching.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I gave that as 1. All right. Time to sweep. Time to go to.
Yes. And I just want to say hello to Miss Brianne Chandler. I just want to say you were pretty darn fantastic in the rom-com exhibition match. It was so much fun. I've seen it twice. It was real fun though. Yes. I just want to say welcome to everyone in the chat. Like I said, please like and subscribe while you're here real quickly, but we are going to be moving on to the second question. Mr. Warfather, will you please do the honors in reading our second question?
Oh, but of course. What retired competitor should return to the Schmoedown as an advisor for the Burning Droogs?
For the Burning Droogs, yes. Okay, guys, now this is, there's so many competitors to choose from, and so no pressure, but this is a personal favorite of mine. So definitely got to do it solid. All right. So you guys have 1 minute on the clock for the opening statements. We started with Dylan prior, but Nat, you are going to be going first for this one. Are you ready for your opening statement?
Let's do it.
1 minute starting now.
Okay, so I want to talk slower for this one. Drew McWeeny is my choice. Drew McWeeny has been to the mountaintop before. He's a former team's champion. You're not going to find a lot of people with more experience than Drew McWeeny. The man knows what it's like to win a championship, and he also knows what it's like to bounce back from defeat. Someone with that wealth of knowledge needs to be involved in the league somehow, and he doesn't want to compete. It's a shame to not utilize his mind for the game as an advisor to help usher in the future of the movie Trivia Schmoedown. My opponent's choice is already involved in the league, so she's not technically returning. And that's why Drew McWeeny is my choice. I want him involved in the league. He's not involved in the league as much as my opponent's choice is, so that's why he's my pick. I yield the rest of my time.
All 17 seconds. Okay, yielding.
You could
That's
just
a bold
plug your
move again.
Twitter or something.
Before you found me on Twitch, not a short move.
All right.
Yeah, that's definitely you can use it. You can use that's your time. Do with what you
could ask
will.
me a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, that's true. You could have asked Forefather a question. Be smarter with your time, Nat. I mean, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish, my dude. All right, that's
nothing is worse than dead air.
Definitely not. Nothing is worse. We have Drew McWeeny is a wonderful choice. I would love to see him back. So I'm excited and sad to see Dylan say that's not a good choice. All right, but Dylan, you also have 1 minute on the clock for your opening statements. So please don't make me cry. Starting now.
Right. So Rachel Cushing is my pick because it's the obvious pick. Nat brings up the thing that Rachel's kind of involved right now. And sure, she had backstage commentary. Yes. But that only adds more fuel to my fire. Why should she be involved, right? She obviously still has that investment. She wants to participate in some way. Why not be an advisor? She doesn't maybe want to go as heavy as be as a whole manager. Even better. So she's keeping up with it on backstage, and we know that she's keeping up current with that stuff. Between that and Sam, we know that she's got a lock on current events. Do we know that Drew McWeeney's keeping up with it? Don't know. So that being said, wealth of knowledge, Drew McWeeny is a what? I'm not going to say anything negative about that, but you know what I will say? Somebody who keeps up with it, Rachel the Crusher Cushing, the legend, the GOAT, the 3 cross-division monster of a machine player. Give that person at the helm with somebody she has chemistry with, guys. Need to remind you guys that Nerds Watch was a thing. That sure, there was a lot of that drama in the past, but you know what? Times heal all wounds. And there's nothing more important than chemistry when bringing 2 people back together. These 2 have a logical, awesome relationship to improve everything. It just makes sense. Come on now, get it together.
Time. Ooh, that's also a very juicy pick for sure. Warfather, like I want to know, this was your rookie season, obviously. What do you think of having either of these, icons of Schmoedown, being a potential advisor for the Droogs? Do you think they can fit in to the Droogs family?
I think either. Here's the sad thing. Realization is that either one could benefit the Droogs in this way. Definitely, Rachel Cushing has. She's on the Mount Schmoemore of movie trivia Schmoedown, obviously. And Drew McWeeny has so much knowledge of the cinema and all that he could definitely benefit several members of the team and be a good counterpoint to Ken Knapsack. As much as I love my war advocate, he could use some movie cinema ingestation of knowledge that Drew McWeeny can offer. So that's what makes this choice so difficult. So now it just has to go down to the arguments for me. Yeah, absolutely. It should also come down to the arguments. I just want to clarify for everyone in the chat. We don't want you to vote because you think, oh, I love this competitor, I love that competitor, I love Dylan, I love Nat. No, that the whole thing is we want you to vote determined based on their arguments exclusively, not because you think Nat's absolutely glorious with his jumbo head of hair, because it is super glorious. It's just so big. It's just so nice. It's so much of it. It's just so full of secrets. And also because have you seen some of his posters in the background? Need I say more? They're pretty fantastic over there. And there's a few people over in the chat that are real quick to, point out. Aaron Yeager has said the Droogs are a lost faction. They need direction. That's definitely something that, could be argued for sure. Dean Morgan said Clark would, if she's done with commissioning. But also, just putting it out there,
Yeah, she'd be fantastic. But also, I could easily see Brienne Chandler, if she wanted to take a stab at it, easily take on some kind of advisory role because she's awesome. Let's face
She's my
it.
second choice.
Oh, yeah, pretty fantastic over here, all around, like I said. Okay, now we are going to be going into the open debate. Dylan is the only one remaining with his 30 seconds of additional uninterrupted time. So that's something you can use or not use at your pleasure. But you guys do have 4 minutes to start debating. Starting now.
You talk about chemistry. Rachel Cushing already has a role in Schmoedown. She's an advisor for the usual suspects. She's an advisor for her fiance's faction. You don't get more chemistry than that. Why are you trying to tear a relationship apart? At best, this is a lateral move for her, moving from advisor to advisor, but without her fiance.
Nope. Let me catch you that right here, right? Because they're going to play, well, there's the bias. There's the Sam Levine background and all of that. Listen, Rachel is nothing if not a person, of a competitor, of integrity. I think that she knows Sam Levine can bring it back together. Sam Levine has all the talent, all the skill that he needs to be able to bring a team back together. And he's starting to show that on this run. He made the play for Ethan Irwin. We're seeing them surprise. You know who's not thriving? The Droogs. And you know who's a friend of Rachel's? Ken's. A friend in need is why Rachel gravitates toward that. Sam will be fine. He will get there. He will bring it back together. Maybe not this season, but next season he can have a stronger run at it. And he's got all the tools for it. Ken does not have those tools. And you know who does have those tools to help him? Rachel Cushing, his friend with integrity, with power. When somebody asks, well, how is it going to play out between the two of them? Listen, Rachel is going to be unbiased on that no matter what. Sure, you can say fiance, I'm not fiance, whatever. Is Rachel Cushing ever kind of come across as a person that's going to leak info to one side or to favor one side? If it comes down to a strictly pure bias on it, she will play neutral at best. And that is really the worst case scenario you can possibly ask for it. But you mentioned Drew McWeeny with some of that leadership stuff. Now let's talk about Drew McWeeny synergy with Knapsack. That's not necessarily a teaming that pairs very well together, man. That's mayonnaise and peanut butter, dude. Let's talk about it. Drew McWeeny, that intimidating super big force coming in. He's that knowledge. He's great stuff there. But he comes in and he dominates, right? That's going to take away from Knapsack. He's not going to cooperate with Knapsack. If Drew comes in, it's Drew McWeeny's way or the highway. We've seen that with the promos. We've seen with how he plays with Guy. He works that way. Can he slightly judge? Sure, but that's going to take time. If we've learned anything about super teams coming together, you need that synergy there. Look at Paul and Tom's first match. Super team put together, synergy wasn't there. Fell apart. Guess who does that?
You're trying to tear apart a good relationship with Sam Levine and Rachel Cushing. I'm not saying she's going to leak anything, but you're messing with true love, man. I mean, this prompt is about what retired competitor should return. And Rachel Cushing can't return. She never left. Drew McWeeny has been on a team with Brandon Hanna before. He's one of the few people who can handle Brandon Hanna. The Droogs need him on the team. They need him for the knowledge. They need him for the synergy. I think he would be a much better fit than Rachel Cushing.
Now, here's the problem. Drew is a powerhouse, and power being the main word there, right? He's going to go in, and it's Drew McWeeny, and you deal with it or you don't. And the players who don't deal with it, automatic fall apart. Brandon Hanna, who's super hot, like Brandon Hanna, who is willing to take over the whole faction, and he was trying to get to be the manager of it. Do you think that he's going to respond well to a power struggle? No, you see how he handles power struggles. You know who he won't try to power struggle with? Somebody who can compromise with, an IG legend, somebody who speaks his language. Drew McWeeny, for all of his wealth, is singles and teams. But Rachel is a 3-division competitor across the board. Brandon Hanna and some of the other tricky competitors there have to respect that. No matter love it or hate it, have to respect that.
That's fine and good, but Rachel Cushing has never worked with a true heel like Brandon Hanna. Drew McWeeny has worked with the greatest heel of all time, and Andrew Guy. He knows how to handle heels. He knows how to step back and let them take charge. I think Rachel Cushing does not belong in the Drew. She belongs in the usual suspects. Drew McWeeny would be a hell of a fit.
And your only argument is because that he would make them work for him. All right, so now we're going with full domination with it. And while that is relatively
Godfather, he knows how to delegate.
All right, even if we're minimizing it to the bare minimum of the skills and aspects, look at it this way. I've got a manager who can advise in 3 different divisions, and you've got a manager that can advise in 2. Even on paper, it's
10 seconds.
Before we account for synergy and every other thing, we don't really have much time to debate more, so I just want to go ahead and plug my YouTube channel. Go check out Effin' Podcast where I do movie reviews every week. Hey, guys, that's the rest of that time. Thank you.
And time. That wraps up the open debate segment of this question. And That was a solid one. Okay, so Warfather, overall, these are obviously both fantastic picks. Neither way you can go wrong. But specifically, they both have a lot of similarities. Both former champions and both belt holders. Obviously, both have worked with a bunch of different personalities and heel personalities as well. Now, Warfather, I do kind of want to know from you: was there any argument in particular that really stood out to you?
An argument that stood out to me was Dylan mentioning on how Mr. McWeeny tends to be a hard person to just negotiate with. And, being a godfather, I'm a war father. I don't know which father to follow, if that's the case. So I'd rather not have that argument. So it brings up a very fair point. But then again, these two are scrapping together with their tongues and with their brains and with their arguments, and now they are both down to the fingernails, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's a lot of big personalities in one faction. Can they handle it? Now, something our ghost judge didn't want to ask you guys to address is really, how would the Burning Droogs versus the usual suspects match play out, given that both the picks are very close to Sam Levine. Obviously, Sam Levine is a former, teammate to Drew McWeeny, being a team's, when they were part of, above the line, being a team's champion, but also Rachel Cushing, obviously, being his unofficial advisor, but also, being his partner, being his fiance. So, that's something that, that would be an interesting potential storyline that would 100% have to be addressed if that were to move on as well. So please address that in your closing statements. Now, like I mentioned, we are going to be starting with our closing statements here in a hot second. Before we get into it, Warfather, what is something that you need answered for this question in order to guarantee your vote today for this one?
How could your pick specifically help me, the Warfather?
Very justified. That is actually a very justified question. It comes down to each and every one of the competitors. How are either one of these competitors gonna help Warfather make him a champion? We want to hear it. You guys, we're gonna be starting with Nat on your closing statements. Are you ready?
I just want to ask him something for clarification. When you say the usual suspects versus Droog, you're talking about all-out faction war? Is that what you're talking about? Like what kind of match is it?
Well,
okay.
Obviously, because what you are ready? You are ready.
I mean, you can go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, obviously, that's something that would have to be addressed. Is just the relationships with both the competitors and how it potentially play out. So obviously, if with you picking Drew McWeeny, so how would that play out going up against Sam Levine again, as an advisor? So yeah. And same for Rachel, how would that play out as, storyline, within Schmoedown as well? So, yeah. Okay. So are you ready though? Did I answer your question? Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right. You have 1 minute starting now.
To address how Drew McWeeny would help Warfather specifically, Drew McWeeny is used to dealing with big personalities like Warfather. I think Rachel Cushing has done so less so. And I think that Drew McWeeny, I don't know what his narrative that Dylan came up with, that he has to take control of the situation. Drew McWeeny is a gentle giant. He's a strong but silent type. He's not going to overwhelm the conversation. I think that Rachel Cushing does not fit in with the Droogs. Rachel has been a babyface her entire tenure in the Schmoedown. I don't know what the Droogs are, but they're certainly not a face faction. Drew McWeeny has experience being on a team with big Q personalities. He was the teammate to the greatest heel of all time, Andrew Guy. He had to work with a loud, boisterous personality in RMD. Hell, he's even been on the same team as Brandon Hanna. He's no stranger to anything the Droogs have to offer, and Rachel does not fit in. She has worked exclusively with baby faces, and she fits in with the suspects. That's where she should stay.
10 seconds.
I yield. Dylan sucks.
Yeah, I'll just chant that over and over. That's what it should be. Yeah, that was yeah, it's like you definitely kind of painted a nice picture for sure. And Dylan, you definitely have your work cut out for you for your closing statements. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm so ready.
All right, 1 minute starting now.
Firstly, let's start off with the terrible narrative that Rachel can't hang with the heels. All right, she's been playing against the heels since the entire dawn of this whole existence of the league. She can hang. And if we're talking about working with them, sure, you can say that she can't jive well with all of that. But you know what? That's not her job. Her job is to leave it to the manager. She's an advisor. She advises. She improves. She brings in what she needs to bring in and focuses on the strengths. So speaking of strengths, we're talking about Warfather, a person who plays against multiple divisions. And you know what she does good with? Playing multiple divisions. You want to talk to a person who's went to the peaks of those divisions? You talk to Rachel Cushing. What else is there more to it? Drew McWeeny, while great, didn't do anything in IG. Warfather could benefit in IG with that. He could benefit in singles and teams because it's the same knowledge base. Who better than going to with Rachel Cushing with that? When you ask me about usual suspects on that, firstly, we know that Rachel is kayfabe proof as far as this
10
goes.
seconds.
Go ahead and use the 30-second extension, Alex. So
Okay.
we're going to sit here and say that, okay, so they're going to put her relationship into it. You know she's not going to allow that stuff. At best, they make a small joke with it and move on because Rachel has enough clout to say, we ain't doing this. We're not turning my relationship. We're not doing Ben and Roxy. That doesn't even come in. Secondly, Sam's only there like half the time anyway. So 50% of the time, she doesn't got to worry about it. She'll be dealing with Andrew Guy or whoever else is managing that week because that's what happens at that place. You know what? They need her skill over at the Droogs, and she doesn't have to worry about that.
10 seconds.
The other half of the time, she has enough integrity to say, you know what? I'm benefiting my friend on this one, and this is where my loyalty lies. But at home, I have a husband or a future husband, and that's where my time and energy will go there. I would concede the rest of my time, and that sucks, and that sucks, and that sucks.
Oh!
I can't stand you. I can't stand you so much.
That's overtime, Nat.
Oh.
Overtime. I might have to dock you. I might have to dock you.
He's on that.
He needs all the help we can get this time. We're all right. We're getting into the start of it. We've got one more round after this. Probably.
Oh man, that was really solid. Warfather, these are two really great picks. Obviously, both really solid arguments overall. But overall, I mean, I gotta know. Obviously, we're gonna find out here pretty soon. Who you guys voted for. But I am kind of curious. I mean, as advisors go, which one of these competitors kind of sold you on the prospect of like helping you out?
I have to say that Dylan bringing up the fact that Rachel Cushing has competed in all three divisions, and myself being a tri-division player that I am, that's very beneficial and a great point to bring up. And but at the same time, Drew McWeeny having the experience behind the scenes and not needing to be an on-screen persona helps him a great deal as well. So that's sort of where my head is at currently.
Absolutely. There's huge benefits to both. I absolutely agree with you. Dylan, definitely just want to give you guys a heads up. Please let us know how you feel. Let us know your opinions by voting below. That'd be much appreciated. It's over in the chat, obviously. Now, something that Dylan did point out is obviously being, playing and competing in 3 out of the 4 leagues is a huge benefit, similar to Warfather over here, obviously. But McWeeny, oh my gosh, he has done so much. He is a man of pure core knowledge. It's unbelievable. And, there's very few competitors, within Schmoedown that, similar to Rachel, obviously, that are really in that conversation. It's such as like, Bibbs, I would say Dan Murrell, as well as like one of the few competitors that are just such ridiculous, stupid amounts of like core knowledge. And, I think that can really help a lot of competitors, within the faction. Now, before I move on to the third and final question, we are clocking in at a little, just under 50 minutes here. So we're doing really good on time here. So before we jump into the third and final question, I do want to just take a minute to kind of highlight what we're doing, some things over here at C2A. We're doing a whole bunch of awesome stuff. We're trying something new here at C2A as well. A little bit of a Twitchy stuff. Dylan, Nat, what are you guys doing for Twitch?
Every Tuesday at 6 p.m., Dylan and I host a show on Twitch where it's basically about nothing and also about everything. We talk about anything you want us to talk about, and we don't even know what we're going to talk about until we start the show. So it's a really fun time. I wanted to make last show a drunk stream, but I didn't drink enough. So maybe next time it's going to be a drunk stream.
Let me get this straight. We can talk about anything?
And nothing. It is up to you. You want to come in? You want to talk about parts? Cool. Let's do it.
I want to talk about Schrodinger's sandwich.
Oh, we can do that. We can so do that.
It's both eaten and not eaten at the same time until you take it out of the bag.
How do you deal with all of that, right?
I don't know.
Oh.
All I know is that I feel like I've overpaid either way.
All of that and more can be over on Twitch Tuesdays, 6 p.m. So that is PST. That's 8 CST and 9 Eastern. Who cares about Eastern?
We're also doing Jackbox games soon, so look out for that. It's going to be a really fun time. We have the really large crew of people who are going to play with us, and we want to try to make that a regular thing. So just be on the lookout for that.
What if I forget about all these things? Is there a media that we could meet up with socially in order to read all this information in case my addled, twisted, twitchy brain has forgotten it?
Funny you should say that. You can actually find us in a whole bunch of links in the description box below. You can find us individually on Twitter, obviously, but you can find C2A on Twitter and on Facebook, and at Call to Action Pod on Twitter. That'd be much appreciated. That'd be really, really awesome if you gave us a follow there. We're just affiliated with a whole bunch of Facebook groups and all that good stuff. We're the ones definitely calling out Ben on his shit because he's an asshat. And, he sold us out. He sold out the Action Army. He sold out the family. I don't want to cry today. Guys, it's a very emotional when that happened. I did legitimately cry. Surprise. Okay, we are going to be moving on to our third and final question. Now, this is an interesting one. Like I said, the name of the Droogs, the Burning Droogs in particular, is based off of it's from a very popular movie called The Clockwork Orange. Is it The Clockwork Orange or Clockwork Orange? Rather.
It is a Clockwork Orange.
Yes. A Clockwork Orange. My articles are way off today. All right. So, yeah, what are articles? What are words? I don't know. So we are going to be kind of diving into that just a tinge, but it is the Burning Droogs. If you're not familiar, A Clockwork Orange is a very popular dystopian movie that was released in the 70s by Mr. Stanley Kubrick, a wishy-washy director. But diving into that, who is he? I don't know. But it kind of really makes us ask ourselves, who is the Alex DeLarge of the Droogs? Warfather, do you already have opinions about this question?
Well, I currently don't really have too many opinions about my fellow teammates because I don't know what they do with their personal time.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of them has an affinity for bowler hats and which ones like to recreationally drink psychedelic milk or, beat people up with random canes. Even I don't do that, and I have a hammer. So I'm going to have to abstain from making a choice. As I might be although I did see Brandon Hanna wear long underwear outside once.
That's on brand. That's very on brand. Okay, well, we are going to be, before we dive into that, we are going to be using this little action coin to determine who is going to go first. Obviously, if you are not familiar with what this is, this little action coin, if you are a general in the Action Army, specifically the Team Action group on Patreon, get on it. You get this little beautiful little coin here. We have a Team Trader right here. If I can get it highlighted, that'd be great.
Ooh, Trader. Ooh.
Or we are our Team Lord and Savior, Andrew Guy. So, yeah.
Hurrah. Savior, hurrah.
All right. We're going to find out who is going to be going first or deferring. So, and it is our Lord and Savior, Andrew Guy. And I believe that was Dylan's pick earlier.
That was me.
Nat, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Nat, so would you like to go first for the third and final question? Or would you like to defer?
I would like to defer.
Defer. All right. No pressure, Dylan.
You defer the DeLarge?
I defer to DeLarge.
Okay. Making sure. Didn't mean to interrupt, Master Judge Mac. I apologize.
So broken.
I don't know why.
I destroyed the show. This is not what the Warfather intended.
Oh gosh, I can't explain. Okay. Oh God. Okay.
War is supposed to bring people together in violence. It's not supposed to destroy things. That was not my intent at all. I apologize.
Oh my gosh, I'm all red right now. I'm all red, guys.
You're all red. Look at me.
I'm all red. I'm all red. I'm sorry. All right, who is the Alex DeLarge of the Droogs? Dylan, we'll be starting with you for our opening statements. You have 1 minute on the clock, and obviously you both have used your 30-second time extensions starting now.
So if we're looking at the Alex DeLarge, and if you're not familiar with it, just picture Whitney Seibold, because that's who I picked. If we're looking even at just pure aesthetic alone, there's so much look, there's so much flair, there's so much of that air of superiority that brings in Alex DeLarge. If you're not familiar, let me go ahead and break down a little traits for Alex DeLarge. Culture, civilized, exudes beauty and intelligence. Who does that sound like? Whitney Seibold. Are you kidding me? This is a one-for-one thing. It's not even close. We're talking about an articulate and sometimes ruthless and dangerous person. And if you're sitting here and saying, oh, well, maybe there's not that aggression, there's not that frustration, obviously there's the intellect and the beauty and all of that, but we're not sure about the danger side of it. Go look at what his attitude is going and getting against Brendan Meyer. He wanted to murder that kid. He wanted to murder Brendan Meyer. He wanted to murder Bibbs because Bibbs betrayed him. And we see all of that. There is an underlying beast that is perfect for it. It's a bubbling well of beauty and anger and a beautiful mixture that is Whitney Seibold. The end.
Oh man, when I first
got that
read
in
it,
the
I
wire.
was like, yeah, that was a solid pick. When I first heard that pick, I was like, ooh, but after hearing it, I'm like, you might be selling that to me a little bit. I also really want it. All right, Nat, you also have 1 minute on the clock to sell us on your pick of Droogs Alex DeLarge. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Starting now.
Sociopath, narcissist, sadist, all-around evil person. You might think I'm describing Alex DeLarge, one of the most infamous, despicable villains in cinema history, but I am actually describing one of the most infamous and despicable competitors in the movie A Trivia Schmoedown. I want you to imagine a world where Brandon Hanna gets his way and becomes the manager of the Droogs, the leader, if you will. I want you to look at me and tell me that he would not have suffered a similar fate that Alex DeLarge did in the 1971 Stanley Kubrick classic, A Clockwork Orange. Do you think for 1 second the rest of the Droogs would not turn against him? I don't think so. Alex DeLarge is just such a terrible human being, and we don't have to go into how bad of a person Brandon Hanna is. We all know he is scum of the earth. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yielding your time. Okay.
Find me on Twitter.
Okay.
Don't suck.
Baba booey, baba booey. Yes.
Yes. Well, I was about to say you have 10 seconds left, but okay. That's perfect timing. Okay. Guys, that was really, really fantastic picks. You're not kidding. Brandon Hanna, sociopath, narcissist, all that good stuff. Is it good stuff? Is it Brandon Hanna? Warfather, what do you think of these picks?
Again, this is it's difficult because on one hand, in terms of the physicality and all of that, Dylan brings up a good point. But then again, in terms of actual personality and being a young little shit, that brings up a good point as well. So it's very hard. And I speak out of love for my teammate Brandon Hanna, of which I have appeared on his little talk show thing too. So he's both of them deserve to the title of being Alex DeLarge for the Droogs, and also do not deserve to be the title of Alex DeLarge of the Droogs. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, it's definitely a very complicated, question. You can argue very complicated, faction overall, and there's a lot to consider, personality, aesthetics, obviously this is very much a dystopian world, and in a world where ultra violence is to a certain extent, accepted for sure.
Yes.
Now,
and the question is, did either of these two men hold a porcelain penis statue in their life at one point? Have they? That's what happened in the movie. You cannot yell at me.
No, Warfather is asking the real questions here.
The real questions.
Now,
yes, the real questions.
Real questions. Asking the real questions here. Now, something I would definitely think that would need to be addressed is, like you just kind of said, Warfather, now really kind of focus on the personality. Dylan focused on a lot of the aesthetics. I definitely want you guys to, and Dylan, I want you to kind of focus a little bit on not only aesthetics, but also the personality, and Nat, focus on the aesthetics as well. Warfather, is there anything in particular that you would need to be addressed, in the open debates?
Yes. Argue on why your pick is the most McDowellish.
McDowellish, yeah. Yes, Malcolm McDowell, just want to clarify,
Yes,
guys.
Malcolm
Just want to
McDowell.
put that out there.
Who played Alex DeLarge. Thank you for clarifying, Master Judge.
Mhm.
I apologize.
You're welcome. Fun factoid, Malcolm McDowell almost wrote and directed the sequel to Hellraiser. Fun fact, in 1988. Fun fact for you, that almost happened. Yes.
The Ghost Judge has a great question in the private chat.
Ooh, that's a good
That's a really great question. Yes. What would either competitor... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I feel like I am accidentally overstepping over you, and I apologize. The Warfather hates interrupting, and please just say the question. I'm sorry.
The question is, what would either competitor add to their glass of milk? And if you don't know, milk is a big theme in the movie. And yes, I just do want to reaffirm something Kelsey had said. Warfather is the absolute best.
Oh,
absolutely.
You're the best, Kelsey.
Clockwork Orange is a weird movie, but it's also great. Yes, but also we need more Warfather.
Please.
Yes, truth is water is wet, guys. Water is wet. The sky is blue. All right, so you guys have 4 minutes of open debate starting right now.
What would Brendan Hanna add to his glass of milk? I would say the blood of his teammates, because he is a creepy little shit, like Warfather just said. So I would not put it past him to get some vials of his teammates' blood. What say you, Dylan?
Whitney Seibel probably adds angel dust that is actually pony unicorn glitter into it, because he wants to ride that trip of experience and go into different verses of mind and space, and really wants to acclaim that true knowledge that just transcends the Schmoedown universe. Nat, I want to address something that you left me with earlier on. You said that Brandon Hanna has all the personality as they're mentioning it. What's another word for personality? Psychology. I'm glad you brought that up. You brought up a couple diagnoses, Nat, something I'm sure you're an expert of, correct? Right? You mentioned narcissism and sociopath. You know what those terms mean, clinically speaking, right? Oh, you don't? You don't know that. You're not a trained professional in mental health. You don't know the clinical terms of what narcissism or sociopath translates to. No.
I don't know what I do in my free time.
Do you know what book they come from, Matt? Do you know that they come from the Diagnostic Statistic Manual number 5? That is because I do know that, Matt, because I am a licensed trained therapist. So let me go ahead and explain this to you really quick. Narcissism, small traits. Brendan Hanna might have it because he's greedy and he wants to really go in. He wants that big, larger-than-life reward for himself. Sure, he probably does want that, but not enough to give it narcissism. Don't give him that much credit. Alex DeLarge has narcissism. Brandon Hanna does not. Sociopath, all of that. You couldn't even tell me the clinical traits of it, Nat. Don't try and use those big words in my courthouse. This is my argument. You're in my world.
You're really trying to tell me that Brandon Hanna is not a narcissist. Are you kidding me? He's the most narcissistic son of a bitch in the entire league.
You know what? When you have a degree where you can clinically diagnose him, I'll buy your opinion on it. But in the meantime, I'm going to need you to sit down and let me finish, all right? Sociopath? No, he doesn't have the sociopath. Just because he's a killer doesn't mean he's a sociopath. They're not tied together.
He's a hitman. He's a sociopath.
No. Here, and exactly, this is what you're missing about the Alex DeLarge personality, right? Okay, first of all, if there's anything that he's missing, it's the sexuality. Brandon Hanna does not have. You know what has that? Whitney Seibel.
Brandon Hanna is literally called the hot man.
Listen, no, he has the Hot Man and he's with one person, but not enough to spread it. And Hot Man is our title that we gave to him that he dismisses. He doesn't even claim to have that sexuality. So don't tell me that he has the Hot Man title. Here's what Brandon Hanna is. Let's get into the aggression. You say he's the hitman, so he's the person to pick for all of that. Brandon Hanna, the problem with him is he doesn't It's quiet. It's precise. It's a scalpel. That is not what Alex DeLarge is. Alex DeLarge is a hammer. He comes in and he breaks things apart. He is outward. He is the art and beauty
I'm gonna cut you
of
off
power.
all the time. I'm gonna talk about his appearance and how he's like Malcolm McDowell. He has those piercing blue eyes, that shit-eating smirk. Alex DeLarge is known to be a sadist. He loves to hurt people, just like Brendan Henner hurt us. He hurt the very people who supported him. Who invited him to our shows, who invited him to sing karaoke, to sing Backstreet Boys. I ask you this: who has Whitney Seibold hurt? Nobody. Everybody loves Whitney Seibold. He is no Alex DeLarge.
No. Whitney Seibold has been hurt, and now he hates the world. All right, you want to say that he hasn't hurt anybody? He's trying to hurt everybody because everybody in his way now, barring Alonzo Duralde, who is just an absolute saint. Everybody loves Alonzo. Let's be honest. So, and
he is Alonzo Duralde. You cannot say he's the Alex DeLarge of the
which shows that he has the leadership skills that we have. We've seen in that team match.
Alex DeLarge is not a good leader. His whole team turned on him.
When it comes to them bantering, we've seen Alonzo defer to Whitney with that when it comes to in-game knowledge with that. You know why? Because he has that sense of leadership and authority.
Yes,
Whitney
he's a good leader. Alex DeLarge is not a good leader. Alex DeLarge got turned on by his own people.
And Hannah couldn't lead a whole faction. He couldn't even take over a whole faction.
10 seconds.
What are you going to see Brendan Hannah at a milk bar, you fool? You'll never see him at a milk bar. He's a hitman.
You don't know about his personal life.
And time. I will mute you both if needed. I will put you in timeout, children. Spewing the facts, and I love it. Oh my gosh. Man. I knew it was going to get intense, but Warfather, did you think it was going to get that intense?
No, but I love that it did.
I know.
It's so good.
Yes. It was so good.
Dylan picking out his own personal Schmoebash in there.
Literally.
Schmoebash. And also, I have to say, I was very impressed with Dylan whipping out his actual, his career as a mental health professional to also address some of the, 25-cent words, Nat did use. So that's definitely some solid strategy right there. Real quickly over to the chat, we did have a super chat not too long ago. So I just want to say thank you so much to Mukbang Reviews. Great show and guest Alex. Oh, thank you. You're great on every show you do. Hope Mornings with the Outlaw continues, but I'll find and support you wherever you are. Oh, thank you. You are great hosting, question writing, and on screen. Oh, man, don't let me cry. I swear. I don't want to.
Wholeheartedly agree with Mukbang Reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we are going to be going into our closing statement. So that was a lot that was just chat about just now. That was a lot that was dove into. Now, Warfather, like I said before, what do they really, really got to sell you on to really, guarantee your vote for this final question? This could be the question that solidifies our winner or loser today.
My question is this. If your pick is truly the Alex DeLarge of the Droogs, and they are forced into a chair and have their eyes split open, the eyelids just permanently open in front of a movie screen, you're going to have to tell me what is the movie that they are being forced to watch so that they'll be a good boy. That is my question that I propose to you both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it almost reminds me of that scene from Addams Family, or is it Addams Family Values, where Wednesday Adam is going to that summer camp and she's forced to watch like classic Disney movies.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which is oddly a reference to A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, see what I did there? Tying it all back together.
This is why Mukbang Review said the thing about you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Our ghost judge, ghost judge, I just want to reaffirm, if you have any questions that you really need them solidified in at the closing stand, please let us know now before we wrap things up with a nice little bow. Over to the chat, guys. Well, we are going to be waiting for them to, kind of cool down for a hot second. Real quickly, yes, it's fitting since Jake misspelled Hitman, I misspelled Jake. I do know there's a lot of back and forth between Jake and Paul Denuzio. I refuse to call him PLD because that is blasphemous. So just want to put that out there. But also blame Jake and also blame Paul. Just pointing that out there. Okay. Now Max is really saying, I fully support the medical and mental flexing, Dylan.
Got you, Max. I got you.
Yes. And damn, boom goes the rocket. Yes, a lot of rockets references up here. Yes. Yeah, but also Western Iros is real quick to say, Not Man is a total narcissist, though. So you definitely got some people in the chat agreeing with you for sure. Yeah, so we need to know, obviously, the content they're going to be consuming in that horrible government experiment, in order to civilize them, I guess, in theory. What is the movie, music, whatever it may be, that they're going to be consumed to make them all better? So we need to know that answer as well. Okay, you guys have 1 minute on the clock. And since we did start with Dylan, we're going to be ending with Dylan for this final question as well. Are you ready for your closing statement?
Yeah, sure.
Good.
All right.
Wouldn't be a show if you weren't.
That would be awkward. Indeed, it would be awkward. You have 1 minute starting now.
So let's start with the movie pick that they're going to use to bring Whitney Seibold down a couple notches. They use no less than the high caliber movies of Fast and Furious, the whole franchise. You need something to really break Whitney Seibold of his class, of his architect, of all of his wisdom and knowledge into classic films. And what better than all 15 of the Fast and Furious movies and all of the spin-offs? That's what you use. I forgot to mention, firstly, rude of me, that we forgot to mention Malcolm McDowell and how Whitney Seibold brings that in. Warfather brought that up at the end of that last question. Malcolm McDowell has that sense of wonderful charisma, but endearing, and you know that he stakes mean it, right? When he does something, you know that he can do it. Whitney Seibold is one of these quiet until he's not characters. He's one of these ones that is not calculated, because that's a scalpel, which is what Brandon Hanna is. And like I said, we need a hammer. And that's what Whitney Seibold is. He has the explosion. He has the hair. He has the look. He has the psychology behind it. And I can prove that by going based on my last 4 minutes of my discussion with Nat. Make sure to go check us out on Twitch Tuesdays every Tuesday.
And time. Yes, I agree, though. Definitely go check us out on Twitch as well. Yes. Okay. Also, Nat, you have 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready?
I really wish I stayed my 30 seconds, but yeah, I'm ready.
I really want to point something out, but I'm not going to do it until after. Or Nat, you have 1 minute starting now.
Do not let Dylan using profession fool you. I know exactly what a sociopath and narcissist is. Brandon Hanna, the character, has shown a lack of empathy for other people. He has shown an excessive need for self-importance. He is as large of the Ring Droogs has to be a heel. Whitney Seibold may have started out as a heel, but how could you not root for Deep 13 and Alonzo Duralde? How could you not root for that? Brandon Hanna is the scum of the earth. Whitney has always been something of an underdog, claimed by many to be one of the most unluckiest competitors in the entire Schmoedown. Because of that, he has our sympathy. Even when Brandon Hanna loses, he gets zero sympathy. When Axelar goes through aversion therapy, I had zero sympathy for him because he's a terrible person. Brandon Hanna is the scum of the earth, and so is Axelar. To address movie eyes, I would put him in front of his little promo he did when he joined the Droogs, where he just turned on all his friends and make him see the error of his ways. Who turns on people who had his back this entire time? I don't understand. Dylan sucks. You get my time.
Okay, so the picks for the media consumption aspect of the question. Yeah, so one of them was a rerun, essentially the promo, and another one is the Fast and Furious movies, which is kind of funny because Whitney Seibold is a real big fan of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Suck a dick, Dylan.
He mentions it all the time.
You're screwing the fans, Alex. Why would you do something so controversial?
I love their podcast. I love Critically Acclaimed as a podcast, and that he mentions it casually all the time. So.
All
right, favoritism towards Nat early on. All right, I see how it is.
No. Gentlemen. I have to say, as your warfather, I am very disappointed in you both in your movie choices.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad, just disappointed.
That's somehow worse.
We both just lost. There's no winners here.
Why?
Gordon can't even look at you. Warfather still loves you. It's just and cares for you. Both equally. I have no favorites. Still disappointed.
Oh, God, it's worse the second time.
Disappointed. No big deal, guys. Warfather's just a little disappointed.
It's a
A
huge
little
deal.
bit. It's no big deal. No big deal. Yes, there's a lot of reaffirming in the chat as well. Danny Coast is just, we disappointed Warfather. I just want to reaffirm, we did it, they did.
Danny, you have never disappointed Warfather. That was not directed toward you. That is not directed toward Master Judge Mac. We all know who it was directed towards. They both know that they will learn from this experience.
No big deal. No big deal. We also had another super chat from Mr. Mukbang just a few minutes ago. Again, you are a great quartet. I got in late, but caught the Nat versus Dylan epic battle and narrated another the glorious Warfather. And I'm seeing it all, the goddess Alex. What a wonderful show. Thank you so much, dudes. Speaking of which, guys, please like, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment where you would really, really appreciate it. And thank you again, Mukbang Reviews. I really appreciate it. Much love. Okay, so guys, we are going to be finding out who the winner is here in just a few moments. So, in the meantime, while we kind of let our judges kind of determine that, we're just going to be waiting a few moments in between because it's oh. Okay. We guys, so guys, more than ever, we do also just want to reaffirm in the chat, we definitely would love your opinion. Please let us know in that link. Jake has set it up in there. Just go ahead and click on the link, go vote. Let us know your opinion. And we're going to be, coming back to this in like a few minutes, just a few minutes, and to kind of really help determine that overall. Okay, now we're playing the waiting game overall, before we kind of wrap things up here. Warfather, I just want to know, where can we find you, your beautiful face, and all your horned situations?
Well, I tend to just lean back and, relax or fight. I don't tend to go to the social medias, and you can see me on Schmoedown things like, well, the Schmoedown and this.
Yes.
But I suggest you help out my roommate, Eric Barnes. He's a comedian and writer of some sort. I don't know. I just room with him. And quite frankly, he's a pain in the ass for yelling at me. Oh, get your red hair out of the drain of the bathroom. Oh, stop yelling so much. You're scaring the neighbors. Oh, you can't use your hammer to tenderize chicken. Jesus, man. He should relax. And hopefully he'll relax if I plug his Twitter at Eric W. Barnes. And of course, he's going to be like, did you tell him it's ERIK? Because a lot of people say ERIC, but mine's with a K. And I'll go, yes, of course. I know, because I have to write your name in terms of as a dependent on my tax forms. I understand it. God damn you. So follow him on Twitter at Eric, ERIK, WBARNES. There. You're happy, roomy? If.
It's also in the description box below. So I just want to point that out there.
All the more better.
It's just like copy.
He'll be happy about it, I'm sure.
Easy. Real easy peasy. Yes. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, good to know. All right, so real quickly as well. Okay, now thank you so much to Warfather, absolutely, and Mr. Eric Barnes. Isn't it okay? Eric, when it's spelled with a K, isn't that supposed to be more like Northern European? Do you know?
I believe it's Norwegian spelling.
Norwegian. Yeah.
Scandinavian of sorts. I have no idea how it's related to me whatsoever. But
Definitely not. I have no idea either. Yeah, you're right. Over to Nat, you and that luscious hair. Where can we find a nice coming soon hair tutorial? It's on Twitch. Can we find it on Twitch?
Yeah, you can find it on Twitch. Twitch.tv/calledaction, where the 2 is the number 2, where Dylan and I stream every Tuesday at 6. And we're also planning on doing more stuff, so check that out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put up like a banner now, since even though we're done with the questions, I'm just gonna put that up there. Hey guys, just want to point this out there. If you have any Streamlabs, any questions, comments, or heck, if you have any opinions where you were like, yeah, I think absolutely this person is correct, this person is not correct, whatever it may be, please let us know in a super chat or Streamlabs in any single way. Anything is, definitely appreciated here at C2A. Dylan, where can we find you, your beautiful face, and all of your 25-minute words?
As Matt mentioned, you can catch us on Tuesdays on Twitch, where we host our Twitch Tuesday shows. And again, if you didn't miss that time, that is 6 PDT. That's that, that West Coast time. You know that time. It's that time the Schmoedown runs on, but nobody else runs on in the rest of the country. But we all follow it because it's important. So you can catch us there every Twitch Tuesday. That's Tuesday on Twitch. It's alliteration. We love it. It's the AAA guys. We had to have it line up that way. Where we do great content, and as Matt described it, it's a show about nothing. It's a show about everything.
We're also on Red or Cinema Bias, which you should also check out on Video Droogs channel.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. We're going to be diving into some stuff here pretty soon on Cinema Bias. It's a show that I host with Drew Grant, aka Video Drew, where we dive into movies that really challenge us. And when it comes to movie biases, horror movies, this is the first horror season where I'm actively trying to watch horror movies for the first time. Ooh. And so like I'm actively being like, okay, F it, I'm gonna watch, because I didn't grow up watching horror movies and I'm a scaredy cat, and so I'm like, F it. So a lot of horror movies are like my first times watch. Like I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first and second one, for the first time. It was like a little double feature action the other day. I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm looking forward to hearing those thoughts. It happens to be one of my roommate's favorite horror film franchises.
It's solid. It's solid. A lot of thoughts on it. Do you have a favorite horror movie, Warfather?
Bonfire of the Vanities.
Is that a real movie? I can't tell.
It's indeed a real film, and if you do see it, you'll realize how horrifying it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I have to check that out. Absolutely. Dylan, what's your favorite horror movie?
That's why it's horrifying.
Ooh, my favorite horror movie? Oh, it's hard. I know you guys are covering It Follows over on Cinema Bias, so I have to plug that one.
We did.
It is so good. I recently just did a rewatch on that one, and it's super good. But if I had to give another lens to it, I'm a really big fan of Cabin in the Woods, and people will say loosely, is that horror? Oh. Yes. It's horror that you have fun with. I like horror that lets you have fun.
May I make a recommendation for a double feature with Cabin in the Woods? Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, yes, love Tucker.
Ooh, wait. On top of that, The Final Girls.
Haven't seen that one.
Final Girls?
No, The Final Girls. Yeah, so it's like Malin Ackerman is in it, and so it's pretty much like Aubrey Plaza is in it. So it's pretty much like a play talking about like all like the final girls in horror movies have like certain tropes. I'm not gonna go in. That's a whole conversation in and of itself. But it's really solid. It's a really great like horror comedy. It's made with a lot of the same people that did Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's so good. So it's available. It's like on Hulu or something. Please do. All right.
That sounds perfect.
All right. And we are going to be announcing our winner here in just a hot second, guys. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your patience. We really appreciate it. We did get a super chat in just a little bit ago from Mr. John Listrina, who donated very generously. So thank you so much, John, who said, Nat is a fraud. # Team Dylan.
Yeah! John Listrina. My man, John.
Disrespectful.
Man, we love John. We love John. We do. We do.
No stealing catchphrases.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right, guys, we have our winner. We have the stats in here. Oh my gosh. And I do want to let you guys know it came down to a tiebreaker vote, the audience vote. So yes. For the first question, obviously being, which competitor should be Knapsack's first draft pick. And we did want to clarify it's after their core trio kind of situation. So fourth pick, essentially, technically speaking. And the winner of that one was Mr. Nat Vu. The second one being, what retired competitor should return to Schmoedown as a Droogs advisor next season? The winner was Dylan Camacho, picking Rachel Cushing. Yes, and meaning for the third and final one, sitting at 1-1, which is who is the Alex DeLarge of the Droogs? The winner is. Thing is, each of the judges, they actually chose different answers. Both judges chose different answers. So we had to go to, it was a tiebreaker for the audience vote. That's why I say it's so important for you guys in the chat to go vote. When Jake sends those links, it's that important. With 73% of the audience vote, it is Nat Vu with Brandon Hanna. Oh, meaning the winner of tonight is Mr. Nat Vu. Woo!
I am at a loss of words. Nothing brings me greater joy than kicking Dylan's ass, and tonight was a good night.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, you
Spoken
did
like
win.
a true battle buddy.
We did get another super chat, just a few minutes ago from Mr. Mukbang Reviews, my dude. So generous today. LOL, Warfather is both knowledgeable and entertaining, so much like Queen Alex, but so different. I love Cabin in the Woods and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yay, October. I do need to watch that one. I do need to watch that one. Yeah. What?
You'll realize why I did that face at some point.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Oh, wait, is that the Donald Sutherland moment? Ah! Is that what it's from?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
He found out sooner than I believed.
I got a reference. Yes.
All
right. Nat, congratulations on your win tonight. You're sitting at 1-0 on Schmoebates. So no big deal. You definitely defeated your foe tonight. How are you feeling?
I have no words. Like, tonight could not have gone better. I'm so excited. I just want to point out, Kelsey brings up in the chat, no ass eating for Nat tonight. If you don't get that, check out Twitch, where we discuss ass eating in detail. So
anything is on the table, guys, on Twitch.
Yeah, wow. It's a real Schrodinger sandwich right there.
I can't right now. Okay. And
how many times must I break this show?
Damn it. Oh, God, I can't. Oh, God. All right, Dylan. Oh, gosh. And Dylan, how are you feeling? You lost against your huge rival today. How are you going to face yourself in the mirror every single day?
Damn, Alex. My disappointment is immeasurable with you, chat. I've never been so distraught and upset with you guys, John Lestrino aside. Actually, like the 23 or 27% that was with me, right on, man. That's my people. This is disappointing, and I know that most of you guys are pretty disappointed and upset. Level 2 wondering earlier, yeah, dude, now you need to go watch Twitch. Yeah, you do. There's nothing but wild stuff on that Wild West. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm not
Dylan,
disappointed.
do you know who isn't disappointed, Dylan?
Who isn't disappointed?
Gordon.
He has all the tentacles. That's the best. That is the absolute best.
He's no longer disappointed in you, Dylan. You fought your best.
I did, and you know what? I guess I'll concede. Nat clearly won the people on that one. I think it was rigged by voting of hair. Mm-hmm. But for those who are super duper upset, I want to break out. Make sure that if you're feeling super upset or feeling really depressed, it's a hard time here recently. 800-273-8255. That is the suicide hotline. Make sure to reach out for your own mental health professionals. As a mental professional who also podcasts, talks about eating ass, and loses to Nat occasionally. Yes, this is a hard time for everybody, especially me in this exact moment. No excuse not to plug the mental health stuff. Go get help if you need it from local mental health professionals. We're out there. We want to help. Come on out, guys. I've been flooded with referrals myself. and I took the time out of the day to be screwed by the audience in this. Damn you all! Damn you all! But go get the help if you need it.
All right. Well.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is important now more than ever. Obviously, there's so much craziness going on in the world. There's no harm in reaching out, asking for help, and just seeking a helping hand with needed. Speaking of a helping hand, though, overall, we have to thank our ghost judge, who we're going to bring on screen here in just a quick second. So he was one of the judges who came on to help determine our winner tonight. So let me just go ahead and bring him on. Ghost Judge, please let me know in the private chat if you're ready. Let me know. Yes, he's ready to go. It is. I'm going to take off the banner here in a second. It is Mr. Chandra Ganapani, our current IG champion. How's it going? Oh, wait, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this real quick. I'm going to change this. It's all good. Yes.
There we go.
Hello, Chandra. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. I've missed you guys. We haven't seen each other in such a long time. Hey, Dylan. Hey, Nat. It hurt me a little bit. It hurt me a little bit to see like a AAA Civil War, especially because like I'm an honorary member of AAA too.
Yeah, he is.
Both of you guys brought it today. I'm really happy, and I know like some of the chat was expecting Brandon Hanna to be the ghost judge. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's just like another thing.
Chandru, you are never a disappointment.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just another thing I took away from the Hitman, I guess.
Hello, Chandru. It was a pleasure judging alongside you.
Overall, Chandra, thank you so much for coming in and, as an IG champion, obviously coming in and judging today's debate. Obviously, you're not part of the Droogs. However, I know, being like the honorary member of AAA, I just had to have you come on board. I thought it would be a really fun surprise, at being a ghost judge. Now, I do want to know overall, what did you think of, some of the picks? What did you think of the final question? What were some of your ideas of some of their picks with Whitney Sebold as well as Brandon Hanna being Alex Delarge?
Yeah, I thought like both of them were really inspired picks. I could see both of them being like the Alex Delarge of the faction if they like go through the way. But then like Nat continuously calling Brandon like a psychopath or a sociopath and a narcissist was like, you're speaking my language, buddy. And and I'm also I don't know, just like Gordon, I'm also a little disappointed in the movie choices. How can you not pick Green Hornet for Brandon Hanna? It has to be that movie.
It was right there.
Oh,
yeah. But
that's true.
Other than that, I really liked all of their picks. It was great debate all throughout.
I do want to know from you real quickly before moving back to Warfather a little bit as well again, is that, I do want to kind of talk about, the prospects of advisory roles and things like that. Obviously you are a huge help. Winston talks, praises you, how you're a huge asset to the faction overall, even though you're competing in so far only one league, obviously. You definitely take on this role where definitely much more, you take on a leadership role. You kind of help the entire team with training, all that good stuff. What did you think of their picks for the potential advisory role with Drew McQueenie as well as Rachel Cushing?
Yeah, like again, those were both great picks. Like, I wanted to know both about like why they would advise Ken over advising Sam or continuing to advise Sam. So that was like that was like a fun dynamic to sort of think about as well. Too, right? And both Paul and I have been like on basically helping out as much as possible with Winston training the whole faction. So that's a lot of fun too. Again, like Paul is also now a lot of people are talking about like me kind of helping behind the scenes, but like Paul should also be should also be commended for all of the both strategy side as well as training side in help that he provides for the entire faction. And some of the chat picks were also like really interesting. With Clark Wolf coming back, Brian Chandler coming back, MF5 coming back, the league has missed all of them, and any of them would be.
Yeah, sorry, I know I'm like messing up with the overlay, Jake. That's my bad. Overall, I apologize. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight some comments in here.
Yeah. Any of them coming back would be great, but yeah, I would love to see McQueenie as sort of this like advisor in this advisory role. It'll be like a fun dynamic like that we've never seen him do before.
Oh my gosh, I miss McQueenie so much. He was one of my favorite, competitors for such a long time. Warfather, I know you said, you were like low key disappointed in both Dylan and Nat's picks, obviously.
No.
I mean, like you were disappointed, but it's okay. They're better now and now everything, obviously.
They
but
learned.
overall, hypothetically, if you were the Alex DeLarge of the Droogs, what would you put in your milk?
What I put in my milk?
Blood? Dragon blood?
No.
Oh,
Dragon blood's
of course not.
Warfather is 5,000 years old. Dragon blood is a little bit too spicy for his constitution nowadays, but a good old salted boar.
Oh, I'm into some salted boar. I can get into
Roast
that.
it over
Okay.
flame, seasoned, and just dunk it right in the milk.
Savory.
Savory.
Sweet.
Warfather loves a refreshing, savory drink.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so unprofessional right now, and I just want to apologize.
Unprofessional or the most
I am just
professional?
dying right now. So hard right now.
What is dying?
I'm just dying. Oh my gosh, Chandra, I'm a huge fan, and congrats. Yes, a lot of love for Chandra here.
Mukbang has
A lot
been,
of
like,
love for
supporting-
Chandra.
Yeah, supporting the show like so much today, and I need to appreciate Mukbang reviews for that. Thanks.
Absolutely, guys. We are going to be wrapping things up here in a quick second. But Chandra, we want to know: is there any advice that you would love to give to Dylan and Nat, and in the future, when it comes to debating in the future? Because obviously, this rivalry is not going to be slowing down anytime soon. So obviously, you are no stranger to rivalries as well. Obviously, so is there any advice you would like to disperse to our competitors or debaters today?
I mean, keep flexing Dylan. That was an amazing flex during the third round. I love that he actually brought in his expertise to explain narcissism and sociopathy and all of that. That was like basically like playing to your strengths, right? Like that's something you would want to do as well. And in the rivalry, always like focus on what makes you so different from the other person. And these guys
The Warfather, pardon me, Chandra, but the Warfather is very pro props. So.
Yes. Props always helps, and if you usually and if you don't have a prop, like go and win a belt, so that can be your prop too.
There we go.
Yeah, you definitely got to work your way up to that prop in particular. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And last but not least, Warfather. In particular, you have been in many a battle. You have been in many wars, being Warfather. Obviously,
Yes.
Do you have any advice to give to Dylan and Nat in the future? Because obviously, like I said, this rivalry is not going to slow down anytime soon. So, as far as like working together, do you have any advice on how to bring these two opposites together again in a friendship?
It is said that iron sharpens iron. Therefore, continue to clash, continue to headbutt. But immediately after, as CTE seeps into your skulls, embrace in a loving post-battle hug so that you may clasp hands and skip your way to victory and to battles beyond. Why is everyone so quiet whenever I say a thing?
I don't know. So basically, what the Warfather is saying is just cut. After a fierce fight, just cuddle with each other.
Yes.
Is that what it is? Oh, is
Yeah.
that what it is?
That's clearly what I said. Why is it that Chandra was the only one to understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just don't
definitely.
fight as often as Chandra and I do on the fields of trivial battles.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I also want to give you guys a heads up. Stay tuned for a super awesome, exciting announcement on Chill. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to be announcing that here in a quick second. You know, I feel like I've seen Warfather in Novigrad. So, yeah. Didn't expect that
drive by
for.
Novigrad.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and I think I missed a super chat not too long ago. Yes, from Ben Rayner. Sorry I missed you, Ben. I apologize. This is the funniest show yet. And that is contributed to all these awesome people around me. So thank you so much. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So just want to let you guys know about what we have coming up here on C2A here next week. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring up this gold mine of an episode coming up. Yes, it is. We're super duper excited for that. Josh McCuga of the Wildberries, himself is coming on Chill to Action here later this week. So definitely stay tuned for that. Definitely check us out on all the socials, on Facebook, on Twitter, and all that wonderful good stuff. But we're going to be wrapping things up. You can find everyone on screen, all of our socials and everything in the description box below. So if you miss Chandras, if you miss Warfathers, Nats, Dylans, definitely click below and check them out. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Wear a mask and keep watching movies. But bye.
Bye, guys.